Hi everyone, my name is Rhiannon Windsor. I'm the Surgical Technology Program Director for Pima Medical Institute here in Phoenix, Arizona. And today I'm going to be talking about why hand washing is such a great idea. So the first question a lot of people ask is, why is hand washing so critical? Well, simply put, hand washing stops the spread of disease. So there are typically two strategies for combating disease, prevention and therapy, and hand washing falls into that prevention category. Hand washing works because it removes the germs or microorganisms that we pick up on our hands from our environment. We typically refer to these as transient microorganisms, and they are the ones that are most likely to be pathogenic or to make us sick. So basically, hand washing is the easiest way to break the chain of infection, specifically that chain that deals with the mode of transmission. Another question I get asked a lot is, what do people do wrong when washing their hands? Well, there are 3 or 4 things people do wrong when washing their hands. And the first thing is that they're not washing or scrubbing long enough. The CDC recommends that 15 to 30 seconds is an adequate time for a hand wash, depending on if you've been touching more high contact surfaces or your hands are visibly soiled, then you would want to wash closer to that 30-second mark. And if not, then at least 15 seconds. Something else is only washing after using the bathroom. Again, going back and referencing the CDC, they recommend that you wash your hands before prepping a meal or when your hands are visibly soiled. Also after touching high contact surfaces like door handles and countertops and faucet handles. Also, if you've touched your eyes, nose, or mouth or blown your nose, is a good idea to wash your hands after that as well. Also, after changing diapers, which is similar to using the restroom or caring for someone that you know is sick. Another thing is not drying your hands thoroughly. If you don't dry your hands thoroughly and they're still wet, water can act as a pathway for those germs. So we want to make sure we dry our hands really well, and we also want to make sure that we use soap. So let's talk a little bit about the steps for hand washing. One thing that we want to keep in mind when we're washing our hands, especially if we're using a public restroom, is that we limit the contact with the sink and the faucet handle. So if there is a faucet handle, we want to make sure that we just get a clean, dry towel to turn the faucet on with and to adjust the flow of the water. And you want to adjust it so that it's a good flow, but it's not splashing onto you, because that goes back to the water, can serve as a pathway for germs. So using a paper towel to adjust the faucet handle works really well, and then you can just discard that towel. The first thing that we want to do is remember to keep our fingers pointing downwards towards the sink and get our hands wet. Then apply some soap. And as we're applying that soap, we want to begin washing at the wrists. And I typically just go around each of my wrists like this and start working down. It's a good idea to interlace the fingers to get between the fingers, because this is an area that's commonly missed, as well as the fingertips and the nails. So you just want to make sure that the soap contacts all of the surfaces of the hands for 15 to 30 seconds. Then we want to make sure that we rinse the soap off really well, because if the soap residue stays on our skin, it can irritate our skin. So we want to make sure that we rinse really well, and then make sure that we dry thoroughly. So a couple clean towels, it might take a couple rounds, make sure that your hands are really dry, and if there is that faucet handle, go ahead and grab one more clean dry towel and turn the faucet off. Lastly, I want to talk about types of soap. So there have been some studies that have been done to determine the effectiveness between antimicrobial soap and non-antimicrobial soap, and those studies have been inconclusive. So what the studies show is that it's just important that we use some sort of soap. Now, Using bar soap or using a soap from a refillable dispenser can be less effective because these have a tendency to harbor more germs or microorganisms. And then lastly, washing with soap has shown statistically to be more effective than just using hand sanitizer. So if we have the option between soap or hand sanitizer, we want to go ahead and use the soap. After listening to my presentation on hand washing, I hope you have a better understanding of why hand washing is such a great idea. Remember, clean hands save lives.